All right, welcome to the show, Gustav. This show is called I.C.P. It's a show by Businesswith where we talk to SaaS people, right? We want to talk to people that are on the commercial side. We want to talk to people who have done, the SaaS journey, either as a founder or, just being on the commercial side, right? And we want to talk to people who actually understand customers and the customer journey, right? So with that being said, I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Nice to be here and to be one of your first guests.
Yeah.
That's an honor.
That's a privilege, right?
Yes, I'm so much looking forward to this conversation that we are going to have today.
Cool, man. Cool. Nice. Me too. We're going to get into a lot of stuff today, right? We'll be covering, of course, your journey and so on. We'll be covering the journey of your company, and we'll be digging deep into, ICPs, right? Category specific questions and so on. But the first question that I would like to ask all my guests, and this might be one of the hardest depending on how much you've, practiced on this answer, but that is, more of a maybe philosophical question. And that is, who is Gustav?
Oh, that's a deep question.
I know.
So I'm 33 years old.
Yeah.
I'm from the western of Sweden. Grew up there with my mom. Just to give you some background about me and how I ended up here.
For sure.
I grew up at the West Coast.
Yeah.
And when I was 19, I moved to Oslo.
Yeah.
To work for 6 months, whatever. Didn't have much plans. You're 19. You're just happy-go-lucky type.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to stay there for half a year, but it became almost 7 years.
Okay.
And that is where my interest got into SaaS, to sales, all the things that I work with today. Started to grow at my venture to Norway.
Right.
I remember I moved over, took some shit jobs.
Yeah.
like you do when you're 19.
Of course, yeah. Been there.
and I remember calling my friend.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to come here. No, none of the Norwegians, they're willing to work hard. So just come over here and this will be amazing for you. I remember that call.
Yeah.
It was a late evening. Anyway, I got into sales pretty early.
Yeah.
When I was 20 years old. And I completely loved it.
Yeah.
To get that feeling of you chasing a lot.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Right.
It's tough, but it's also very rewarding.
Of course.
And that was how I got into sales.
What was that? The first sales job? What was it? What were you doing?
The first sales job was I was renting out barracks.
Okay.
At a rental equipment company called Chroma.
Okay.
So started there and eventually came into SaaS 5 years later.
Okay.
But before that, I studied at the Norwegian Business School.
Okay, so you not only just moved there to work and then you got another job and then you actually stayed there to actually study as well.
Yeah, so I met a girl.
Of course.
And I was okay, I need to take some education as well.
Yeah.
So I went to education there.
Okay, cool.
In Oslo. And after that, after the education at the business school, I was I really want to get into the SaaS industry because I was reading a lot about it and it sounded very super interesting,
right.
How you could access services, cloud services, and you can do all of those amazing things. So the first, and this was 2015.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you what year were you on. Okay, cool, thank you.
And I went on to a company called Symmetry.
Okay.
And they had this solution for putting buildings into the cloud. So if you are Vasakronan or you are, forgot that English word for fastighetsägare.
No, you're a real estate owner.
Yeah, real estate owner.
Yeah.
So they got this solution that
or maybe more commercial buildings rather.
It was and they got this solution for to put all the fastigheter.
Yeah, all the properties.
sorry,
No, you're good.
all
you're
the
good.
properties
Yeah.
into this cloud solution.
Right.
And to get like, okay, now we're gonna do cleaning here. We're gonna do some.
Right. Some maintenance over here and so
Yeah.
on. Yeah. Okay. I got
Exactly.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why I was like, okay, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I wanna do something that is probably more like commercial, because the clients that I had at the time was not meeting up to my high energy levels.
Oh, okay.
If I can say like that.
No, you can say that.
So I went on to a really interesting journey that will learn me like a lot on how to scale a SaaS company.
Okay.
This was my like proper real like educational piece on how to scale something from zero. So I went
when
on,
you were at that company, Symmetry.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
And you were there in the role of sales.
Yeah,
or...
I was a sales manager, scaling up a small team.
Okay.
But then I was like, the company that I'm going to talk about now was my change to a company called House of Control.
Okay.
Where we did contract management.
Right.
So it was a cloud platform where you could store all your contracts, basically. When they start and when you need to renegotiate them and who's responsible and so on. Pretty simple solution though. But they had the right DNA, I would say, in order to like what is required to scale a company.
Right.
So I really enjoyed that time of my life, I would say. So I went on there, and the CEO asked me. This is
still in Oslo or Norway?
Yes. So this is still in Oslo.
Okay.
And right now we are approximately at 2016.
Okay.
So I only stay like 1 year at the previous company.
Yeah.
And then he told me like, hey, you wanna test the Swedish market?
Yeah.
And I lived in Norway for like almost 7 years.
Yeah.
So I was like, perfect. This is my ticket back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, why not?
Yeah,
let's
of course.
do it.
No, it's a fun challenge, of course. Yeah.
Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah.
And first thing he was like, yeah, probably should set up the office in Gothenburg. So I went over because Oslo and Gothenburg is pretty close, right? And went over there, and I found that like it was a really hard time to get the proper like product fit, product market fit.
Yeah. So you're saying it was working in Norway, but it was more difficult to find the product market fit in Sweden.
Yeah, it was tougher. Okay. And then one weekend I came over to Stockholm and I went down on Strandvägen.
Yeah.
And I saw all those guys walking there, and I was like, damn, I think it's going to work in Stockholm. Just got that hunch, that this will work here.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah,
it wasn't really more of an intuition rather than, the research method that we're so used to with the approach. I like that, yeah.
And I called the CEO and I asked him like, hey, you know what? Am I really the first one to open up here?
Yeah.
He was like, no, you're not. You're the third guy trying it out.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, let's shut down the Gothenburg office. Let's move it to Stockholm.
Okay.
I got this hunch.
Right.
And it took off.
Oh, really?
So hired some salespeople, some SDRs, some customer success managers, and took a different approach, like only targeted like listed companies. That was like pretty big.
Okay.
And because before we tried to on companies that was pretty small.
Yeah.
And they didn't see the value. I mean, in terms of like talking about I.C.P.
Right. Yeah, I love this.
So yeah, and the larger companies, they saw like, okay, this is really good for us. This is something that we really need. And I took that from 0 to almost 10 million in ARR in like 2.5 years. And I learned a lot there. That was amazing. I mean, it was all from like trading the SDRs to the sales reps to customer success on how to onboard, how to develop the clients, offboard when you have those times as well.
Yeah, of course.
And doing all of those stuff. So that was a really fun time, I would say.
Yeah, I can imagine.
In my career.
Yeah, and really interesting to hear the, and this was still 2015, 16-ish, we're talking about?
So like I ended my position there in 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what I was asking you more. Yeah, but when you made the switch from Gothenburg to Stockholm, when is that?
This is 2017.
Okay, yeah. And it's just so interesting to hear that perspective because, now 2023, we're like, it doesn't really matter where you are, right? Or at least we assume that it doesn't matter with the remote thing, of course, which was obviously, very, very much here even before the pandemic, right? Or the COVID pandemic. And then after, I would say it's just been the new standard, right? So it's just funny to hear how, being in Gothenburg, which is not even that far from Stockholm, and it's really not, maybe it's not working, and then you just try Stockholm, which is just 3 hours by the train, and then it just takes off. And I love that because the reason why I love that story is because sometimes you think that, as I was saying before, you got to do the research, right? There's so much, all the numbers, and then there's, all of this product market fit aspects. And then you just try to make a qualified sort of decision, right? Whereas in this case, it's truly driven by, I was here, I was walking around the city, I got a feeling, let's just try it. And you tried it and it actually worked out. So I love that because it's a totally different approach. It's very much practical rather than, the research heavy, which is also super important, of course. But I really love it because of that aspect.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I just had this like hunch and gut feeling that, and also like the larger companies were more, I mean, they have their offices here, their HQs here.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, let's try it out. And we scaled it and then it went out.
Nice.
It's pretty well.
10 million ARR in 2 years. That's
it was incredible. It was a good run.
Yeah, no, I can tell. Congratulations on that, man. All right. Let's then go into, today, right? If you fast forward a little bit, you are the CEO of BrightBid. Tell me about how did you start BrightBid and also why?
So let me give you some background to this.
Yeah, please.
So after doing this House of Control, I felt like, okay, wow, I really nailed it.
Yeah.
I had this like, wow.
Self-confidence was through the roof, right?
Yeah, that was really pretty high. And I got this friend from my hometown that I got in contact with again.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, you know what? I have developed this headless e-commerce piece and we will sell this as a service.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, cool. I quitted my day work and got 100% into this new project.
Okay.
And so I will probably get back to this later, but just take you to the journey.
For sure.
To start with.
Absolutely.
So we started off, we got our first like 8-10 clients, and things were like, oh, is something here that doesn't feel right. So the delivery piece was not there. And I mean, I trusted him a lot.
Yeah.
But slowly I realized that, okay, he would not be able to deliver whatever that vision was that we had from the beginning.
Okay.
And he basically bounces off and leaves me with the whole project.
Oh, okay.
He was like, hey, you know what? I have become a CTO in Bahamas, so I'm moving.
Okay.
I'm out.
Nice friend, yeah.
And I was stuck with the company and just tried to fix as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, it didn't go the right way.
No, of course. Okay.
And that was really painful, I would say. I mean, that was my real first hard lesson about entrepreneurship.
Right.
Because you can read in the newspapers, you read like, okay, things are going well.
Right.
You got funded by X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And they got this amazing idea. But I would say like the majority of the companies doesn't get there.
Right.
And I had this like super hard experience. And during that time, because now we're gonna come into how BrightBid was founded, basically.
Yeah.
So when we were delivering the e-commerce stores, they were also asking a lot about, hey, can you help me out with paid search?
Okay.
And that was, and I saw my partner left to Bahamas, and I was like, okay, I need to find a way out of this.
Right.
And I started to research the market, realized that, okay, it's really, I mean, first of all, really hard to find digital specialists.
Yeah.
And second, it's very expensive. Like those ninjas and gurus that can do those amazing stuff with your paid search account, they were not easy to find.
No.
So that's why I was looking, I looked into, okay, could we find like an automated solution for this? I mean, because it's basically probability calculation, paid search.
Yeah, depending on who you ask, of course. Yeah, but I let's go on.
So Google is intuition-driven search engine, like blue car Stockholm.
Right.
And then you're served with a result.
Yeah.
And based on who you are, your demographical data, they will put certain, different bids on who you are and how much like you are to actually convert on those keywords.
Yeah.
And that was like, okay, we need to find a tool for this. So I started to look out for a tool. I found a tool. We tried different tools, but nothing that was really solving the whole process and the offer that I want to give to our customers.
Right.
So,
and just for the timeline here, where are we now in terms of?
Now we are at 2020.
Okay, cool.
Because I founded the company 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So right now, 3 years ago, I was sitting there and trying out different solutions.
Okay, got it.
And we find a couple of different solutions. We try them out, and then we started to develop our own solution.
All right.
For paid search. For Google Ads.
Yeah.
And 3 years ago we were 2 people, and today we are almost 70 people. And have offices in Stockholm, of course. Oslo, London, and Copenhagen.
Nice.
And serving plus 400 clients. So it's been amazing.
Yeah, I know. I can I can imagine.
So it's been a lot of fun. A lot of pain. A lot of laughs.
Of course. Of course.
But I think like what brought us here is, in the process that you have a strategy and so on. It's I think that you need to fail fast and fix it. And make it as a part of your process.
Right.
So even if you have this like long-term strategy, you need to always, be prepared to correct your direction a little bit, just that you have a like very clear goal. You will reach it. But if it's that way or that way, that's not defined yet. So you need to make that as a part of your process.
Of course.
So I think that has been a key success in order to get BrightBid to where it is today.
And I think you actually not only talk about it, but this is actually what you did. Because when you were working with the first offering, which was towards the e-commerce customers, right? And you guys felt that it didn't really take off the way you wanted, and obviously, of course, with the relationship you had with your co-founder. But then when you hear the questions that they keep asking you, right? And those are actually, questions that, as you said, like you can go out and find the answers to that. And eventually that kind of shifted your entire business model, right? So I think that's a true testament to what you're talking about, basically.
And I think to be open about that kind of, that be willing to try different solutions and be humble about it, that, you will not always be right. Your partner maybe has a better idea. Okay, let's go out and try it and see if it's working or if it's not working.
For sure.
I think that is a like great way of like building a company and to do that with interactions.
For sure.
And fast interactions.
No, I love it. Just also another question on that journey, because obviously in our small bubble world of SaaS, there's many ways of achieving growth, right? There's the ones that go through the route of bootstrapping, right? whereas you kind of live on your saved money, family and friends pitch in, or the primary source of income usually comes from the clients, right? And then you have the route that's, also a solution where you kind of go directly to a VC or whatever, or somebody that invests in your company. Talk about those two perspectives a little bit from your own journey, both, I would say, with the first company that eventually turned into BrightBid. So start there, maybe.
I mean, I've tried both in BrightBid.
Yeah.
Both. I mean, I'll tell you, when we started off, we were bootstrapped for 9 months.
Yeah.
That was horrifying.
Yeah.
Especially with the project that I had before.
Yeah.
I was checking my bank account 9 days, 9 times a day.
Yeah.
If the client had paid the invoice,
okay,
so I could pay out to our suppliers,
of course,
and the salaries.
Yeah.
And that was really interesting, hard.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that I made it.
Right.
It's like running a marathon.
Yeah.
And you're happy afterwards that you completed the run.
Of course.
And I mean, things changed during the journey, because I also think that, okay, you have this idea, you're willing to interact, you're willing to try different angles, products. But then the thing that we have not spoken about that's been like really game changing for BrightBid as well is to recruit the right people.
Yeah.
So me and Marcus, that was starting out the company together. 9 months in the journey.
Yeah.
There's a guy that was very used to how to attract VC players.
Okay.
And he was like, hey guys, because at that month, at the 9th month, we were actually profitable.
Okay.
Until the 9th month, we had just our own savings, being super careful and done everything by the book.
Yeah.
And he comes in and like, hey guys, we need to raise some money to this. This is a growth project.
Right.
And we're like, okay, let's do that then.
Okay. And was this the first time you guys raised money?
Yeah.
For you personally then?
Yeah. This was the first time.
Okay.
That we raised money.
Yeah.
And I think we raised 3 million kroners.
Yeah.
And we got our first Norwegian office opened.
Okay. Yeah.
And with this, I said to Marcus, like, okay, good, now we're good.
And Marcus, sorry, is your co-founder?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I told him, like, okay, now we don't need to raise any more money.
Right.
And the more growth we had, the more it was like, okay, because as long as you are, like, if you're investing 1 kroner and you get 3 back, you can still invest in that growth, 100%. Right? And then we raised more money.
Yeah.
I think you raised almost, between 50 and 60 million.
Okay.
In BrightBid before we was purchased by Specta.
Okay.
So that was a interesting journey. We were open up like Norway, and then we opened up the UK market, which was also, challenging.
Of course.
UK is the second largest PPC market. Yeah. They are spending...
In the world or in Europe?
In the world.
Okay.
They are spending $16 billion a year on just like paid search.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And do you know, just to get a comparison, do you know how much we're spending in Sweden? Approximately?
No, I think we are spending... no, I don't have that figure.
Okay, no, I was just trying to get a reference, but never mind.
Yeah,
we can get back to that.
But it's much smaller. I think it's 2 billion. I think it's 2.
And then compared to 60, right? At
16.
The UK. 16. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
One thing that is really interesting about the Swedish market is that the Swedish market are really like they come a long way in the digital growth.
Yeah.
Compared to a lot of countries in Europe.
Yeah, we keep hearing that.
So we are spending a lot compared to how big we are as a country, which is interesting.
Yeah, of course.
But we are open to try different solutions.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of innovation going on here in Stockholm.
Of course.
With SaaS and
100%,
so all that landscape is really interesting.
Yeah, and that's why I keep referring to it as this, this little bubble that we have going on here. It's to us who are, in the SaaS industry every day, it just feels like our entire world, right? So it kind of seems a bit big, but then you look at it and you zoom out a little bit, and it's actually quite small, but it's still very dynamic and super, super interesting, and it's, I've been in the SaaS space for about 10 years now, so I just think it's super fun, but sometimes you get caught up in just, the SaaS world, because I was talking to just a close friend and a business mate, if you could say that, about this, that SaaS is interesting 100%, and obviously it's a cool way of doing business, and it was and still is innovative, but at the end of the day, it's just a way of delivering your business, right, or your service. What's at the core is always the customer, right? And sometimes, I'm not saying that it's you and me, but sometimes we tend to forget that because we're all about the SaaS, right? And SaaS this and SaaS that, but there's a customer.
It's a lot about, actually it's a lot about the, as, because everything is as a service.
Exactly.
And then you have front end as a service, cleaning as a service, software as a service.
No, exactly. That's why I'm saying that the acronyms sometimes kind of get more important than the actual deliverance. No, but it's just fun to make fun of yourself sometimes. But then you were talking about the bootstrap versus the VC journey, and I'm not saying that either or is better, right? I'm just saying that there's two perspectives, and it was just nice to hear your perspective on those two differences, right? But then if we kind of leave, you've taken us through your personal journey, right? And then how you guys started BrightBid. Let's try and get into, the growth journey from sort of founding up until now, and maybe a bit in the future. You gave some hints here about, being acquired and so on. I want to get into that as well. But let's start with today. Like, we're here in Stockholm, Sweden, 2023. End of the third quarter, right? What would you say? What's the revenue size today, or maybe not today specifically, but where are you at in August of 2023 or September of 2023?
So since July, we were acquired by Specta, which is from our end super interesting, because go into the specifics, we are offering, BrightBid are offering Google text ads. And Specta have a long history of marketing, different marketing companies, and have the last 5 years developed a product called BidBrain.
Okay.
And that is for Google Shopping.
Right.
So when we did this merge, this was amazing for us, because now we could start to offer e-commerce clients as well.
Right.
Because previously it was, only text search ads.
Right.
And now we could offer the Google Shopping.
Okay. Yeah.
So
it seems like a perfect match then, of course, to broaden your offerings and
broader offering. We could serve much more customers. Yeah. And so that's been really good for now and going forward.
Yeah.
And we did this merge July.
Yeah.
And now BrightBid is owned 100% by Specta.
All right.
So in terms of the revenue piece, I can refer to the latest report.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
There we were plus 400 clients.
Yeah.
Customers today.
Yeah.
Globally, that we serve on 30 markets.
Yeah.
And we have a revenue of for approximately 47 million kroner.
Nice. And that has been done during the 3 years that you guys have been running, right? So yeah. Okay.
Correctly.
Cool.
And so we have had a very, very strong growth.
Yeah. We can hear that, of course. No, it's interesting, and I want to get into this a little bit more. So tell me then about the growth rate. Not just going from 0 to 47.
Yeah.
In 3 years, it's pretty obvious that took you 3 years to reach this level. But did you grow at, 100% year on year? Were you, year 0 to year 1? Were you at, 47
like
by 3?
year 2, if you're backing up a bit,
Yeah.
Last year during this time we had like a 400% growth year on year.
Sweet.
So based on like how small the revenue is, the growth numbers are
of course
crazy. But let me like take you through what I think is important, because first, when you're starting out a company, the first thing you're looking for is to get this product market fit. And you're so happy about that, and you realize like, okay, like in terms of like I.C.P.
Right.
First time I realized that was when we brought on our first 5 clients, customers, and we could see a huge increase in the result.
Okay.
And they came from different backgrounds. With like, some of them have done their Google Ads account manually, on their own.
Right.
Some of them had like dealing with agencies before.
Yeah.
And then we took over and we put our algorithm on. Our AI engine that have like an automatic solution for like changing bids, demographics, changing text, doing all of those steps that normally a human do at an agency.
Yeah.
So to solve this, because that's a big problem.
Right.
Because as I referred to before, when I had the design, to find those really, really good people are really, really hard. But we wanted to create this engine to serve all our customers equal, and to give them a tool that no matter what, day and night can just work with probability calculations.
Exactly.
Because Google search is all about that. And that was the first time I realized, okay, now we have a product market fit.
Right.
We can actually take something that is really painful for our customers and serve them with a solution that gives them a better outcome compared to the solution that they had before.
Okay. So did you, let's stay at this a little bit, because I love the concept of finding a product market fit. You're saying you got the feeling of, reaching the product market fit once you saw the value that you could deliver to these early 5 clients, or was it more so that you found the product market fit once you started scaling, or how? Tell me about that. Like, when did you say that, hey, we found this?
Yeah. So first step was that, okay, wow, we can really change the environment for companies that want to advertise on Google with our engine.
Yeah.
And then, scaling from like 5 customers to 100 customers is a different process, right?
Of course.
But when we looked at different industries, they didn't have like they only working with, they are architects, or they are plumbers, or they are streaming services or SaaS companies. We had this mix from the beginning, and each and every one of them got really good results.
Okay.
And that made us take the next step and scale the business even further.
Okay.
I would say.
Yeah.
That gave us confidence.
Right.
To see because in going from 0 to 100, you will find out that, okay, this is only working for a certain industry.
Right.
But it did actually work for a lot of different industries.
Yeah.
And going back to what are we really solving here?
Yeah.
We have we have developed an algorithm that are working with probability calculation.
Yeah.
And that worked well, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, to me, it's pretty obvious, but just for, the audience also who are listening in, before we go deeper into this growth journey, how would you describe what BrightBid does? You've mentioned a few things, of course, already, but just give us the
elevator pitch.
The elevator pitch, yeah. What is BrightBid? What is BrightBid doing?
Yeah, so BrightBid, we have developed an AI engine for Google Ads.
Yeah.
And we have, with the vision to create the absolutely best co-worker to our customers. That would create the ad copy, to adjust the bidding, and to adjust, working with different audiences, and to constantly optimize and try different things in order to achieve as a high result as possible. You can basically see BrightBid as a person, artificial person,
right,
that will take care of all your Google Ads advertisement,
right,
and the whole process with it.
Okay, cool. And you're mentioning algorithms, you're mentioning automatics and so on. Is there an AI perspective in this as well?
Yeah.
Tell me about that, because I know you started 2020-ish, right?
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, and then obviously AI has been around for longer than we know. Everybody has been aware of AI, of course, for the past, I don't know, since March, whatever. I'm talking about OpenAI and so on, and ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Of course, there's been an uprise in the talks about AI, and people are more inclined towards understanding what AI is. But 2020, I wouldn't say that it was even close to the hype level that AI is right now. Talk about how your own sort of AI application to this service has changed throughout the years, or even if it has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the fun thing is about like AI has been around for 50, 60 years. And, but I would say like ChatGPT really put AI on the map.
Of course.
Because then, I mean, I still remember it. This was like December 1 year ago.
Yeah.
And I was like sitting there and trying this, and I was like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Generative AI.
Right.
Really put AI on the map. But I mean, how we worked with AI first. So we have an API connection, so we can take out all data from like different sources,
right,
like Google, and we are connected to some more sources.
Right.
I will not tell you the whole secret source.
No. It's okay.
And so what is happening is that we are taking down that information, and we have made a like algorithm set.
Right.
To like, let's say that we are searching for car, you and me.
Yeah.
And we are grouped, like you and me, but you enjoy real estate more than I do. I enjoy more food in my interests.
Right.
So that will like come on to how we are calculating the probability. So based on your ads, am I making this too complicated?
No, not at all. Keep going. This is good.
So based on you as a client, we will then like predict a bid based on who is searching.
Right.
So if we are offering podcast equipment, for instance, but we can see that people that have real estate as interest and doing it from a phone, they are more like to convert, then we will automatically increase that bid.
Okay.
Or put another text like like best podcast equipment versus good. So how we are working with it is we are downloading all the data from Google every single day. Yeah. And we are crunching those, and it's going to an algorithm that I have not done. No. All the smart like data scientist team that we have created. And then we are shooting up the changes every single night. Okay. So based on how much you spend, because the spend will also define how much we can learn. Right. We will do from 5,000 to 500,000 optimizations on a monthly basis. Okay. Okay. So that is like how we working with and like going forward with the product. I'm like back to 2020. Right. Where it was like pretty simple, I would say, to more like go into this like nice interface. Now you can tweak it much more. You can work with different attribution models, and it's getting more refined. Yeah. And I would say like when ChatGPT came around, AI really like shot through the roof.
and that's what sorry to interrupt you. And I think that's what's interesting here, because as you say, first of all, I didn't know it was 56 years, which is just nice to know for in the beginning. But then as I was getting into, in 2020, obviously AI was not new. But then when ChatGPT came around and OpenAI sort of, released their version of it, has that changed your offering, or has it only sort of, are you guys saying that, we're still doing what we did, but we're just doing it better? Or has ChatGPT and sort of the new AI hype, has that dramatically changed your offering in any way?
I think it's been, we have not changed the way, because we were connecting to OpenAI like a couple of years ago to try out, because there's been some different like language models out there and NLP models, but OpenAI really nailed it. They were the first one to really nail, and this was 2020 or 2021, somewhere there. It was the first time where an engine could analyze, I think it was like 170 billion data points or something.
Okay.
So they really like nailed it. They crushed it.
Yeah.
And then they did the spin-off called ChatGPT.
Okay.
So, our direction at the product has not changed. So the direction that we are going with our product is not only to serve Google Ads.
Yeah.
We are also serving Bing now.
Yeah.
And looking to become this independent platform for advertisers.
Okay.
That, want this help from an AI to calculate basically where should I put my money, come with suggestion, and actually do it.
Okay.
So to become more like CMO's best friend in terms of paid search.
Right.
So Google has been that's a big one to crack.
Of course.
And then scaling out to more platforms, and that's the direction where we're going with the company.
Okay.
But I think ChatGPT made it, easier.
Yeah.
Probably to make new customers try it.
Yeah, because that's what I was gonna get at, like the acceptance of AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because before it was like, okay, this is a black box. I don't know what it is. ChatGPT made AI more like, okay, I understand a bit more.
Okay.
And I can trust it a little bit more.
Okay.
So then we got much more acceptance for our service.
Okay. Yeah. Because talk a little bit about that. Let's go pre ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
You step into one of your a prospect, right, which is a good fit on the paper, right? They fit the I.C.P and so on. When you presented BrightBid to them, again pre ChatGPT, you were into it. You were talking a little bit about it now, but would you say that you were a bit afraid of? Did they understand that BrightBid was powered by AI or was using AI, or was it more something that you mentioned only if it came up?
No. So we were pushing this pretty hard, I would say.
Okay.
That we had this engine that was doing all of those calculations.
Yeah.
And improvements.
Right.
On accounts, but. Looking at our landscape, the paid search landscape, the agencies have taught the clients how to buy ads. So they are more like, okay, we want a person that sits with us and explain what is happening. And to come there and to say like, hey, you know what, we created this ultimate person for you.
Right.
Who will work 24/7 for you, that is never sick.
Yeah.
And has one goal, and that is to improve your account.
Right.
That was like, okay, but how does it really work?
Okay.
So it was much more explaining.
Yeah.
But this is a very advanced algorithm.
Right.
So to do more of explainable AI, why the engine we have spent a lot of time doing that.
Yeah.
To get our customers to understand why the engine did as it did.
Right.
And so by the end of the day, I would say paid search, it's a lot about outcome.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, of course. 100%.
Okay, I'm putting 1,000 kroner into machine. I want 5,000 back.
Exactly.
How you get it is up to you.
Yeah.
So
no, that makes sense. So basically what you're saying then is post ChatGPT, clients of BrightBid are maybe not as afraid, or I wouldn't say that they were afraid before, but more accepting the fact that this is actually, as you said, this is an AI, which is pretty much
doing it. Yeah.
Right. So that has changed basically.
Yeah, that has changed, and it's changed the whole landscape.
Yeah.
In terms of if we are looking into AI, generative AI is really cool.
Yeah.
Based on what it's been learning before, it can create something new.
Yeah.
And that is also a model that we are working with. I mean, based on the knowledge that the AI have, it can now start to reshape different messages
Right.
and bidding strategies and trying new kind of stuff based on the previous learnings.
Right.
So it's I mean, it's a really cool landscape. I think this will change, I mean, our future.
Yeah.
Remember when blockchain came around?
Yeah, for sure.
No one did understand okay, what is this?
No.
I still don't get it.
Yeah, same.
But I think AI is really here to stay and to change our environment for the next like 10, 20 years from now.
Yeah, for sure. Because I also think it's more, you can try it out more. You can see results from stuff that you're trying. It's much more practical, I would say, than maybe blockchain technology to the average human. So I totally agree with that, 100%. Cool, man. We'll get back to the category and AI more and your category. I just want to talk about one thing before we leave this segment, which is you are now a listed company, if I could say that, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You were still is a startup, of course, but tell me about the difference between running your own company as a startup and then a few years later being listed at the stock market. Which market is it?
First North.
Yeah. Okay. So you listed on First North. Tell me, Gustav is here today, 2023 September. What's the difference between that and was it June you were listed? No, you were acquired in June.
Yeah. So we were listed in July.
Okay.
Like 3rd, 4th of July.
How is that different from
the big difference is like like just being listed and not listed?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean private and then public, obviously.
I mean, it's more compliance, I would say. So you need to like be compliant to certain rules, and you cannot talk about things that you could talk about.
Yeah.
Like when you were asking like how much was your sales previous month?
Right.
You cannot say that because you need to provide the market. I mean, everyone with the same information at the same time.
Right.
Basically.
That makes sense. Of course.
So that is the big difference. But there are like pros and cons because I mean it's a very like quality stamp to be listed.
Yeah.
Because that means that you have your books in place and everything is like really structured. And when you're not a listed company, you can do a little bit more as you want.
Right.
But I mean, I think it's like pros and cons with everything. This new phase, I think, is really exciting. Going from the basement to being a listed company in 3 years and doing that journey. I think it's really fun because I really like enjoying like being placed in new environments to learn as much as possible. But I'm like hungry as a person, so I like want to see like how is that?
Yeah.
And how is that?
Yeah, I love it. Was this ever a goal of yours when you started BrightBid to be a listed company?
No, I wouldn't say that.
No.
We were just like, okay, we can solve this problem. We want to scale as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And we want to create this independent platform that could help a lot of different companies with their paid search.
Right.
And when Specta came around with BidBrain, we was like, okay, this is a really good match.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Cool. Nice.
So yeah.
Okay. Got it. Now let's get into team, right? Obviously, you didn't go from 0 to 47 million alone. So let's talk about team size first, a little bit just by the number. How many people are working at BrightBid today?
Approximately 70 people.
70 people. Okay, and then talk about the structure, organization-wise, right? How would like a org chart look like? And I would say the top level, basically, because you got obviously you, Gustav, as a CEO. Who are directly reporting to you, and what roles do they have?
Yeah. So let me take you through the management team. Yeah. So it's our CFO.
Yeah.
And our chief of staff.
Yeah.
And then we have our head of sales, marketing.
Yeah.
And then we have customer success director.
Right.
Our product manager, our CTO, that is also a co-founder.
Cool.
And our head of AI.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So that's the whole team.
Nice, cool. And so that's a lot of key functions, of course, that we see in obviously it's key functions in any type of business, whether you're a SaaS or, not maybe if you're not an AI company or you don't have a head of AI, of course. But it's nice to see. And I wanted to ask you just quickly, your own disciplines or your own sort of key skills in a team like that. Would you say you're more, the product guy? Would you say you're more of somebody writing code, or were you more of the sales guy? We got an introduction to what you did at the start, of course, but take me through some of the skills that you feel like, hey, this is where I'm good and this is where I enjoy working the most, right?
Yeah. So I'm like really enjoying the commercial piece.
Yeah.
I would say love that. But in order to be, updated on what is happening and where you need to go the next quarter or months, you also need to have a good understanding of the product.
Yeah.
So I would say like I'm really interested about the product, how it's developing, but I'm taking that and going to our customers or to our customer success managers and asking them like, is this function good?
Right.
What do you think about that? Of course they will have their own, but like what my strongest sides is to like develop the company in a direction that is very commercially orientated.
Right.
But also putting product very high up.
Yeah.
So that is, I would say like very commercial driven leader.
Nice. And take me through, I told you earlier about what we want to do with this show, right? And the name of the show, obviously, as you know, is ICP. And we want to get into how people grow their businesses, right? And one part of growing is, of course, having a close eye on what metrics that actually show if we're reaching our goals or not, right? Talk to me about, maybe 3 to 5 key metrics that you like to keep an eye on and that you maybe ask your management team to actually report back to you and obviously the other people in that team, right?
Yeah. So I will place like as number 1, net growth.
Okay.
That is like the main metric. And then you can divide that into, but net growth is something that I look, probably 5 times a day.
Okay. And let me follow-up question on that, because you can look at net growth from, I don't know, or define that for me. Define what you mean by net growth, because there's obviously the perspective of looking at it, at a month-to-month basis, from a year-to-year, ARR, MRR, so on. Take me through what you mean by net growth.
Yeah, so you can do, as you're saying, you can look at different time periods of it, but I'm always looking at, mainly year-to-year, what we did like on a quarterly basis, especially now.
Yeah, for sure.
So quarterly basis is really important, and that is to see that the curve is still going in the right direction.
Right.
So with the net growth is that we are still continue our growth journey and not losing customers, and that we are taking care of our customers and developing and growing with them.
Yeah.
But that our net growth always is positive.
Yeah. And maybe this is an obvious question, but of course, net growth then could include new customers, right? And the growth of existing customers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So net growth would be 1.
Yeah. So that is, and then we are looking a lot of like customer acquisition cost to want to have that as good as possible. Yeah. Of course.
Right.
And then we are looking at net revenue retention, because that would explain something about how is things going with your customers. Are you growing with them, or do you not do that?
Yeah.
So I would say like net growth, net growth.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. No.
And customer acquisition cost and net revenue retention.
Right.
I would say that is like the key, and then you can split those into like a lot of different things in terms of reporting and stuff.
Yeah, of course. Okay, no, I like that. You were talking about cost of acquisition, right?
Yeah, customer acquisition cost.
Customer acquisition, yeah. So how do you acquire new customers? And I know that's a big question.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid of, talking about it from a broader perspective, the way you want it to.
So we have a very skilled marketing team.
Cool, nice.
We are doing PR. We are doing paid search on Google, of course, on LinkedIn, on Bing.
Right.
We are doing like the classic like ABM as well, account-based marketing.
Right.
And working with an SDR team. So the marketing team and the SDR team are working very closely together.
Right.
Depending on what campaign they are doing. We are also doing events. We are doing different seminars. So we are trying, I mean, a lot of different, I mean, basically everything that you can do, we are trying to do that in some way.
Of course.
Big or small.
Yeah. And on that, I also wanted to ask you, do you see any of the things that you guys have tried throughout the years and are trying right now that is especially good for you and working really well for you?
I would say like based on what kind of product you are offering, but if we are looking at BidBrain's product that is mainly for e-commerce, I would say like paid search is working really well there.
Yeah, nice.
And if you're looking at more of the like B2B customers, I would say events is really powerful. Account-based marketing together with a team of SDRs.
Right.
PR is also working pretty well.
Yeah.
So I'll say based on the different products,
of course,
there's different angles on it.
Yeah, of course. No, actually, it's interesting that you're mentioning events, because I keep hearing that as something that's working really well for people. What type of events are you guys doing?
We are doing all from like very specific like marketing events to like tech events.
Yeah. Attending or organizing yourselves, or both?
I would say, so we are attending them.
Yeah.
I mean, by having a stand there and to have sales guys. But one thing that we also noticed was like if we have a speaking slot there at the event,
right,
that will drive up the interest for new customers a lot more, because then you get that like spotlight that okay, this is what we are doing.
Of course. And,
so I would say that is a great tip.
Okay, nice.
To try to always try to get the speaking slot.
Got it. And then talking about, if we kind of switch topics again and go into the category, right? Which is like, when we talk about categories from, BusinessWith perspective, it's like we try to help buyers buy, right? We try to help buyers buy better. So therefore, it makes it a lot easier for the buyer if we if we put companies in certain categories that are known to the buyers, right? But sometimes it's a bit tricky, because you might have a view of what category you're in, or maybe you view yourself as somebody who's creating a new category that doesn't exist, and so on. But just to, make it easy, what would you say is BrightBid's category, and how would you phrase it? Like, what's the name of the category for you?
So I would say like we are in the AdTech category.
Yeah.
I mean, we are an advertising technology company.
Yeah.
So that is basically the naming for it.
Yeah, and sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Would you say that your customers, when they don't know about you, is that also how they define you before they come in touch with you?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, because how customers are finding us, it's more of like paid search. Someone is looking for an agency that could do the paid search and ending up in our funnel.
Okay, interesting.
Since I would not say that there's so many solutions out there.
Yeah.
So I would say that the normal like journey for finding us would be, you're looking for an agency or someone that can take care of your advertisement,
right? Your
paid advertisement, and then you will find into an AdTech company.
Okay. Yeah. So they kind of they get a realization that, hey, maybe there's alternative ways of doing this, and then you kind of
so that's how the funnel looks in terms of how they are finding us when they're searching for.
Got it. And then part of the category, I guess, would be, who are your primary buyer, right? We've been mentioning I.C.P a few times here, back and forth. But let's get into BrightBid's I.C.P. How would you describe your I.C.P, and how does the I.C.P look for you?
So we have two personas, I would say.
Yeah.
And persona number one
Yeah.
is a growth hacker, I would say, like a digital specialist that want, an easier way to doing the paid search on Google.
Right.
And persona number two would be the CMO.
Okay.
That is our, perfect customer profile.
Yeah. And those are basically two roles, right? If you look at the ICE or those two personas, right? Does it matter to you if there are, if it's a CMO at a 5 million Swedish kroners company, right, in terms of revenue size, or if it's we don't have too many 5 billion Swedish kroners companies in Sweden, but does it matter to you
the size?
The size of the revenue, size of the team, size of the company?
I would say, like, in order to succeed with paid search, you need to have enough budget for it.
Yeah.
So if your budget is too low, then I don't think BrightBid is the right choice. If you're just about to start out and you want to try something in a smaller scale, then I think, go out there and try it out. And when you have come away on your journey,
right,
then BrightBid is a really good choice for you. Because when we have a lot of data, the more data we have, we can analyze that and we can do a lot of improvements. If we don't have so much data, of course we need to start over and doing it. But the absolutely, ideal customer profile is someone with a lot of data,
right,
that have and good ad spend, I would say, as well.
Yeah.
Because then we can really start, because we can crunch thousands and thousands of data points.
Right.
And where we get to, like, the real leverage is when we have that data and to scale that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I also wanted to ask you, how do you segment based off of, if a company spends 10,000 per month or 200,000 per month? Is there a way for you to see that before you initiate contact or before you segment?
There are some ways to get, like, that kind of information.
Yeah.
But in terms of when you're, like, trying to request a demo or something, we will find it out before the call.
Yeah.
Just so we are, like, prepared.
Of course.
Because we have lighter solutions, of course. So if you just want the engine to work and try to collect all that data, because we have a learning period as well.
Right.
But we will try to be set expectations that are realistic from the very start.
Okay.
But how we are finding it out is mainly when when new customers are coming in contact with us.
Right. And do you only work inbound, meaning you only wait for customers to reach out to you? Are you in that luxury position where, there's the form submissions just go?
I wish.
Or do you also do any type of outbound motion?
Yeah, so we are doing both, I would say. So we are combining both, like, SDRs with cold calling and inbound, of course.
Yeah.
So it's a mix, I would say.
We were talking about doing the inbound motion or, the outbound motion and so on, right? And you were mentioning that you guys obviously do both. But I wanted to ask you personally, because you've been in sales for a while, and have you noticed any difference between maybe doing cold calling or cold emailing a few years back? And is it different, would you say, today when you talk to your sales representatives and so on?
I would say, those email bots.
Yeah.
I would say that, at least what I have heard, that is a really tough one now. Because when it came out, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, everyone was like, okay, wow, this is a human, until everyone realized that was a bot. I would say that one is that solution of doing marketing. I think that one is really hard to succeed with. I think LinkedIn is very strong.
Yeah.
But you need to be very precise.
Right.
In your message. I also think that still that cold calling is working.
Okay, interesting.
But with one but.
Okay, tell me.
If you are doing account-based marketing for 4, 5, 6 weeks, so you have exposed new customers for a certain message, and then you are giving them a call.
Okay.
I think that could be like efficient way of getting a meeting in order to explain more of what you do.
Okay, and you've seen success with this yourself?
Yeah, we've seen success with this. I always think like cold calling is really hard. I mean,
it is.
You can ask every sales rep. No one likes it.
I've done it for a few years. It was difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's difficult. and it's all about creating this like process where everyone thinks that, okay, wow, I'm really getting through here. I'm succeeding to book my meetings. And I would say account-based marketing together with an SDR, I think that's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Email marketing, don't know about that. I think that's pretty tough because everyone realized now, okay, this is a robot.
Yeah.
This is not personal.
Yeah.
And at that moment, you're like, no.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine you get a few of those yourself as well.
LinkedIn is, I think LinkedIn is a really good tool.
And you're talking about LinkedIn in mail specifically.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. And you guys are seeing some success there.
Yeah, because it's very easy to go. I mean, look at the profile.
Yeah.
Who is the person that has written this message? What is it representing? Is this something for me? Oh yeah, maybe now it's time to review my paid search.
Right.
Or to review another service that you're looking for. I think so you get, when you're like with just a couple of clicks coming into that person's profile where the company where it's working, I think that is a really good way of doing it.
Yeah.
So when you're getting the email, it's maybe in the junk mail, you're like,
yeah,
I'm not going to check it.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure. And I also wanted to talk to you about, you told us you guys have offices around the world, Europe, UK, and so on. And in terms of growing and reaching buyers, do you see any difference between trying to reach buyers, maybe here in Stockholm, as opposed to, the UK market, and using those two motions, meaning the inbound motion and the outbound motion? Tell me about your perspective on that.
I mean, you have like different directions you can go with the company. So some companies are not choosing to have boots on the ground.
Yeah.
We chose that mainly because I've been working with them before.
Right.
So, I mean, looking at the Nordics, I've been working with those guys that are working at our other offices in the Nordics.
Yeah.
But in the UK, the strategy there was more to get us to a lot of like PR, to get our name out there.
Yeah.
And so the customers got this confidence that, okay, BrightBid is really an AI solution that works, that having this vision going forward, this is what they want to achieve.
Yeah.
And to reading that in a PR article or something.
Okay.
Compared to the Nordic, I think like getting meetings in Nordics much easier than the UK. UK is much harder, much more a competitive landscape.
And do you think it's harder because of the lack of brand awareness, or do you think it's harder because of maybe a cultural thing?
I think it's harder because the competition is so big. Because it's so much agencies out there offering some kind of solution, or AdTech tools that are offering some kind of solution for paid search.
Okay.
So to get through there, I think like PR is a really brilliant way of getting your name out there and to get this brand recognition.
Right. Okay.
In order for them to be open to even take a meeting with you.
Okay. Okay. Understand.
In the Nordics, we are pretty open to stuff. I mean, we're like, okay, because as we talked about when we started off, we like technology in the Nordics. I mean, wow, this is cool. This is probably a cool tool. Someone thought about that. And I mean, the willingness for trying new solutions in the Nordics, my experience that we are much more open to that compared to, I mean, I would say the UK that is much more competitive.
Right, right. And how long ago did you launch the UK, would you say?
So it is approximately a year from now.
Yeah, and you start seeing some revenue coming from UK, or
yeah, of course,
yeah. You still, even if it's difficult, you feel that you guys are still coming through the gatekeepers and so on. You're getting meetings and closing deals, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we got traction pretty fast in the UK. I would say so. We have probably 50-60 customers in the UK, different sizes.
Yeah.
So it's really fun, and I see UK as the window to the rest of the Europe. So we will not open up more offices in the Europe, I would say.
Yeah.
So that is, I think there are 60 million people there, right? 50-60 million people that could speak all those different languages if you want to launch to a new market or so, and very like international environment. I personally love London. I think it's good. I went over there and started out the office by myself.
Yeah.
And I was there for 10 months and really loved it.
Nice.
And then it was time to go back to Stockholm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have our own country manager there now that is doing that. But
nice.
yeah, very interesting market, super big.
Yeah.
A lot of potential.
Right. Nice, man. Cool. And then before we finish off, I wanted to ask you, in this category, right, the buyers that you guys have, to somebody who is thinking about buying into your category or buying a tool like BrightBid, which would probably then be maybe a CMO or a growth hack or a digital specialist, right? What are some tips you would give to them in terms of buying something like BrightBid?
I would say technology is amazing. I mean, we have so much technology out there. Is this specific for BrightBid or?
No, I would say specifically for BrightBid.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So what they need to think of, one, get an audit on your account. We will say like, okay, we can do X or Z or Y.
Yeah.
And after that, do your decision. Because now we have come to a place where we just go into the account, scanning it out, and a couple of hours later, we will have a pretty precise report on what we can achieve with our technology.
Right.
So ask for that, and the rest is up to you to make that decision.
Okay.
If you think it's good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then if you take it from a general perspective as well, into buying maybe, obviously, tell me about that actually. I wanted to ask you, and I just remembered. Obviously, there's other, as you mentioned, in the UK market, there's a lot of competition, right? And I imagine that there's some competition, obviously, in the Nordics as well. But what are you competing with? And who are you competing with, would you say?
We are competing towards agencies.
Yeah.
And other, but mainly agencies, I would say.
Yeah.
Because our customer, like a CMO or growth hacker or digital specialist,
right,
are very used to buy the service from an agency.
Right.
You get the person, this is how your month went, and so on.
Yeah.
So I will say that is our main competitor that we are competing against.
Yeah. And other than that, I mean, obviously I understand that the agency is one huge component of the competitive landscape, right? Any other tools that kind of look like you do similar things?
Yeah, we have some other tools.
Yeah.
That are specialized in e-commerce or different, very niche.
Right.
I would say. So but I think competition is good.
Of course.
I think it's good that some more people are out there and putting out the offerings, so people are getting more aware.
Yeah.
I love competition.
Yeah.
That makes me run a little bit faster.
Okay, cool. Then tell me then. You got to answer this question though. I come to you, right? I'm a CMO. Who am I comparing you with if it's not the agencies? Who are your top three sort of competition that people compare you with?
I mean, what they are comparing us to.
Yeah, for example, I'll give you some reference. I'm buying a CRM, right? I stack up Salesforce, HubSpot Pipedrive, basically, right? What do I do when I stack up BrightBid against?
I think it's something called Sky and Albert.
Okay.
I think those are the people that we will be compared to.
Right.
But mainly, I mean, looking at like what they will compare us to is mainly if we could do a difference on the customer's results.
Right.
I would say that is like the real thing. What we think that we can achieve together with our customers, with our technology working out there. So whoever could bring that to another level, I think that is the right person to join on a journey. Because paid search is really competitive, and only the company or the people with the best algorithm will win that.
Yeah, got it. Makes sense. One final question for you then.
Okay.
Who else would you recommend me to do this with the next time I do this?
Oh, I would recommend you to... I don't have a good answer now.
Think about it for a minute. It's okay.
So someone in like a SaaS?
Yeah, someone in SaaS, someone that has, done the growth journey, maybe like yourself. It doesn't have to be a CEO or a founder. It could be a CMO, it could be a VP of sales, but just someone that you think has an interesting story, has seen a lot of growth, and that would be good for me to talk to, and good for the listeners also in the SaaS community to get a chance to get an insights into how they did it.
I mean, I need to say one guy.
Yeah.
But he's working at my place.
Of course. What a shock. No, I'm just joking.
But his name is Anders Gustafsson.
Yeah.
And he's been our strategy manager for like our journey. He was the guy that taught us how to raise our first money.
Yeah.
He's been to iZettle, that was acquired by PayPal very early.
Right.
He has been to Enride, that truck company.
Yeah.
Very early, he was CFO there.
Okay, interesting, yeah.
And Truecaller, that application that went through the roof.
Right.
I would say that guy is really interesting to hear
about. So, yeah, it sounds like he's a good guy to talk to. For sure, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Except that, give me some time, I'll come up with someone
For sure. No pressure. All right, then. Well, Gustav, thank you so much for joining me. It's been really fun talking to you, and it's been an interesting story that you've had so far.
Thank you so much for coming here. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you for today.
Looking forward to seeing where you guys are at, maybe in a year or 2 years, to catch up with you at that time, right?
Yeah, I'll be back in a year, and until that, let's kick some ass.
Let's do it. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
All the best.
All the best. Bye.